Good evening, I'm Jose Cardenas. Tonight, find out about a project recruiting and training people with skills needed for civic leadership. And a radio talk show in the Valley calling itself the world's first ever Jewish Chicano radio show hopes to strengthen ties between the Mexican American and the Jewish community. All coming up next on Horizonte.
Funding for Horizonte is made possible by contributions by the Friends of Eight, members of your Arizona PBS station.
Thank you for joining us. The New American Leaders Project, also known as NALP, is a nonpartisan group encouraging immigrants to run for office across the country. We'll talk to panelists on this project in a moment, but first, here's what the project is all about.
I was born in Vizalco, El Salvador, but grew up in downtown Los Angeles.
I was born in Southern California, and my family migrated from Germany, Ireland, France, and Nigeria.
I was born in Los Angeles, and my parents migrated from El Salvador.
I'm a new American.
I am a new American.
Growing up, I was told that I didn't belong, that LA was not my home. But I see myself as part of the larger immigrant story.
Growing up in the 1980s, my biggest fear was to come home from school and learn that my mother had been deported. You realize that the only way to help the marginalized and oppressed, your very own communities, is to become a leader yourself.
The New American Leaders Project gives us the tools that we need to position ourselves as emerging leaders.
The New American Leaders Project is not only a network, but it's also like a family that I can go to when I need help in my professional development goals.
As an immigrant woman, the experiences you bring to the table aren't always considered. We see things differently. And NALP allows you to really develop that conversation that we all need to have.
We're empowering communities to speak for themselves, and we're using technology to break down traditional barriers.
The Ready to Lead training gave me the campaign fundraising tools that I needed.
The New American Leaders Project has a national network that no matter where you go, you can connect with someone, whether in D.C., New York, Arizona, or California.
The New American Leaders Project taught me to embrace my American story, not to run away from it.
My name is Fermin Vasquez.
My name is Uduak Untuk.
My name is Ana Grande.
I am a New American Leader.
I am a New American Leader.
We need leaders who believe that ordinary people can do extraordinary things.
Now joining me to talk about this project is Petra Falcon, Executive Director for Promise Arizona, and Pedro Lopez, an NALP participant and a member of the Cartwright School District Governing Board. Thank you both for joining us on Horizonte. Petra, you've been on many times before with a focus on community engagement, but this is a little different than what we talked about before. Describe the program for me.
Well, the New American Leaders Project is a new national project, and its focus is to invest in the future leaders of our communities, and it is focused on first and second generation immigrants with the notion that our new Americans are here with a purpose to live the American dream, but also to bring their values into political public life. And the very first thing that they have to offer is their story, of coming to this country and just being able to have this hope and this drive and connecting it to the future of their community. So it's just a wonderful, wonderful partnership that we've joined with the National American Leaders Project. It's 3 years old. Its founder is Asian, and we've connected in the last couple of years to bring this training to Arizona.
Now, Petra, why the focus on relatively new immigrants who may not have the same established ties to the community, may not have the same resources that people who've been here for a while?
Because, for that reason alone, an immigrant has a story that has come through struggle, perhaps, that has been framed around the importance of family, the importance of community. And these are the kinds of leaders that I think we need to have in elected office that will also transfer those values into the decision making.
Pedro, you were born in the United States, but you grew up much of your life in Mexico.
Yes.
So you have that experience. Do you think your approach to running for office and other things that you've done would have been different if you'd been born and raised entirely in the United States?
I think so too. I came from Mexico 7 years ago, so I come from a different culture. I mean, I was fortunate to be born in the U.S., but just the values that my parents, my mom and my dad gave me when I was growing up, education, staying involved in the community helped me achieve a successful campaign.
And how do you think your immigrant background plays into that? Why does that make you, in this case, a better school board member than you might otherwise be?
My district is 94% Latino. I know my neighbors, I know my students, I know my teachers. I've been growing up in that area for the past 7 years. So, one, I know the struggle, and secondly, I know what the community needs, and that's why I decided to run for the school board, especially in my district, because again, I feel that I can better represent my students, my constituents, because we have the same background.
Now, Pedro, I know that you're very proud of Pedro. He's one of your shining stars, but how did you come to find him and the other people who've participated in what is now two sessions of the program?
Well, number one, Pedro, we found in the streets at the state capitol when SB 1070 hit our state.
He was campaigning or demonstrating.
He came marching to the state capitol. He was at his high school, and they did a walkout, and he showed up at the capitol, and he signed a volunteer card that said, "I want to join the movement." And we called him, and we brought him into the family, and we have leadership training all the time for our young volunteers.
And we're running pictures as you're talking of some of the leadership sessions on the screen. So what does the training consist of?
The training consists of what Pedro has already described. How does he take what his energy and his ganas, and you transfer them into being able to put a campaign together?
Ganas meaning desires.
Ganas meaning desires, and he's got a commitment to his community, and how do you transfer them so that he learns how to put together a campaign? What are the skills that you need? How do you raise money for a campaign? And how can you be successful? And it really starts with Pedro telling his story and then going from there. And he just described how he knows his community. Well, if he's going to run for public office and be successful, he's got to start with the people in his community who are going to vote for him, because his biggest asset will be his voters.
And you have cohorts of around 20 people.
The best learning environment is a cohort of about 20. Our first year we had 19 trainees. Pedro was one of those. 9 of those came out of a lot of them come out of campaign life or civic engagement. They've learned how to do voter registration. They've learned how to knock on doors, and they say, well, I can do this. But more importantly, they come to civic public engagement or political public life when they're at 17 because they're angry about what they're seeing in their communities. And there was a lot of anger around SB 1070. So this energy we've seen the last 3 years has come out of that. So now can we move that energy so that they can become decision makers in their own communities? So this training really is about the immigrant experience, but now can we transfer that into the political experience with all of their energy that they have?
And I want to come back to the topic of this happening now in light of some very interesting recent decisions. But before that, what do you teach them, and who does the teaching? What do you teach them that they don't already know?
Well, the founder is Sayub Bojwani, who is Asian, and the curriculum begins with telling their narrative. What's their story? But they also talk about what is their stump speech going to be like, because we all know that politicians are great at giving stump speeches, but you have to remember that these young people have never run for public office, probably have never been in front of a camera. So the first thing is for them to be able to tell their story or decide or tell somebody why they want to run for public office in 90 seconds or in 3 minutes. So that's some of the pieces that they learn. But the other thing that they learn is how do you put a campaign budget together? And the first thing that they teach these candidates is the majority of the time that they're going to be doing is talking to voters and raising money. So then who is it that they need around them? What do they build around them so that they can have a successful campaign?
And Pedro, what was the most valuable thing you learned in those 2 days of training?
The most valuable thing was the stump speech. I mean, it's 90 seconds, so you basically share your story, why you're running, and why should they sign your petition, and why should they vote for you. So that was one of the key things for me. But secondly, raising money. As a Latino, I was raised to never ask for money. That's something that you don't do. And so in this training, I was able to feel comfortable and make those phone calls and have the discipline to spend a whole day campaigning, not just doing one thing, but one, talking to voters, and secondly, talking to people, to your friends, people that are going to actually give you some money to run the campaign.
Now, you ran in a crowded field. There are 5 other candidates
Five
for
candidates
for 3 positions, is
for
that right?
3 positions.
And you were the top vote getter, is that right?
Yes, I was fortunate to receive 6,000 votes. The past elections has been 4,000 or 5,000. It was a presidential year, but we were the only campaign that was one calling voters, door knocking every day, had literature and campaign signs.
And you think that made a difference?
That made a huge difference.
What about now that you're on the board? You've been there for several months, right?
For 6 months.
How much did this prepare you for that experience?
It prepared me in a way that, one, now I'm an elected official. I'm a public person, so that got me ready for that. But now that I'm in the board, there's so much policy that we need to learn. There's a lot of things that come to the school board. It's not, when I ran, they told me my job is to approve the budget, create policy, and fire and hire the superintendent. Well, I've learned in the past 6 months that that's not the job.
It's a little bit more complicated than that.
It's more complicated than that.
So Petra, is your organization at the stage, you know that old Robert Redford movie, The Candidate, where he wins and the movie ends with him saying, what do we do now? What kind of training are you guys going to do for the people who actually succeed?
Well, I want to also say that why school board elections are important to Promise Arizona. In 2011, after the big push with SB 1070, our community had a decision-making process through house meetings and conversations and just listening to what was important to the families. And we elected as an organization that our 2 issues for our working agenda, our organizing agenda, was going to be education and immigration. So we've integrated those issues out with our work in the last couple of years, and that's why school boards are so important to us. And when you're talking about governance, we have to teach our community that they have to be there side by side with our school board members. Too many times people have little interest in running for school boards because they're not as exciting as perhaps running for Congress or for a state office. But school board elections, school boards are important to our families and our communities and the future of Arizona. So that's why we've made a commitment to working with NALP and working with the Pedros of the world so that they're not learning by themselves. And what we're doing long-term, working with NALP, is developing a curriculum just for school board candidates and what they have to do beyond running for office. We've got about 250 alumni across the country, and the second phase of this will be bringing together people who just are interested in school boards and providing that support.
Petra, we're almost out of time, so last question. You alluded to this earlier, the passion that issues like SB 1070 and other matters evoke and the stimulus that provided. Since then, SB 1070 has largely been gutted by the courts. A decision this week on voter registration that went against the state of Arizona. There's a pretty good chance immigration reform will pass this year in Congress. So where does that leave you? Do you think you're going to see a waning of interest in programs like this?
No, I think there'll be increased need, and definitely increased need in us continuing to organize, because you're just going to have many more issues that we have to address. Everything from adult education to how do we get people ready for jobs. So the need for organizing in our community is even greater. And more importantly, people who are ready to lead is going to be at a much, much, much greater.
Well, thank you both for joining us on Horizonte tonight to talk about this. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
Phoenix Talkback is being called the world's first ever Jewish Chicano radio show. The hour-long show airs on KFNX 1100 AM at 10 o'clock Sunday mornings and is also available on the internet. We will talk to the host of the show in a moment, but first let's listen to the first Phoenix Talkback show that aired in March of this year.
This is Phoenix Talkback, the world's first Jewish Chicano radio show. All right. Welcome to Phoenix Talkback. This is Phoenix Talkback, America's first Jewish Chicano radio show. We are independent liberals in Arizona with America's first Jewish Chicano radio show. Both Jews and Chicanos have numerous similarities, and there are many Jewish people in Mexico. Both groups stress the importance of family. Both groups possess a language unique to their culture, and both groups have a history of facing oppression and rising above it. And it is not unreasonable to view what is currently happening to Mexicans in the United States as similar to what has happened to the Jewish people throughout history.
We have seen exclusionary laws passed in this nation that have targeted Jews, Catholics, Irish, Chinese, and other minority groups. And we feel that the best medicine against discrimination, hatred, and indifference is sunlight and attention. And this is the goal of this radio show.
Joining me now to talk about Phoenix Talkback Radio is one of the co-hosts, Viva Samuel Ramirez, one of the co-hosts, and Lou Show, the founder of the program. So Lou, tell us how this came to be.
Well, it's an extension of a show I did on the internet called The Lou Show, and I was away from radio for a while, and I looked at politics and looked around, and it came to me that there is a need to show a matter of solidarity between all peoples here in Arizona, and I'm a Jewish person, and I thought it was important for everyone to know that, because it is a part of my being. And Arizona is composed mainly of Mexican Americans, or in other words, Chicanos. So this is the world's first Jewish Chicano radio show.
Now, did you have a sense, though, that there was a perception of a rift between the Jewish and Hispanic Chicano communities, or what were you trying to remedy a particular issue?
No, I don't see a rift. As a matter of fact, the whole purpose of formulating this show is as a matter of solidarity. Is that Jews are all over the world, and
as you pointed out, there are a lot of Jews in Mexico.
There's a lot of Jews in Mexico. There's lots of everybody in Mexico, and I think that I think it's important to highlight any kind of combination of solidarity that we can see. We see it in Mexico. We also see it here in America. And here's one example. By the mere fact that we are together, we're discussing the society, politics, and the culture. And here's one example. And this is the world's first combination of Jewish Chicano radio show.
Now, Viva, you weren't on the show originally, but you decided to become a pretty regular part of it, a regular co-host. What attracted you to it?
Well, you know, when I was invited by one of the founders of the show, Dee Dee Blaze, told me about the show, and we happened to share an idea about
Dee Dee Blaze with Native American connections.
No, with she's the founders of the Tequila Party.
Oh yes, I remember.
Sure you remember. So, who has been a big supporter of Lou and the show, and she knows that where my stance is about being Chicano, and she was looking for a voice that might have contributed in exactly the way that Lou was saying. She invited me to come on, and it was a good experience, so we decided to do it again. And I found that I have something to say, and I really enjoy saying Chicano. I really enjoy introducing myself as a Chicano and representing that voice, at least for myself on the show.
And did you have a sense that you were fulfilling a need by providing that voice on this show?
I do. I do feel that there is a need because we're on the brink of what is not just a Hispanic or a Latino movement, but a Chicano movement. This is about the beginning of an independence in Chicano identity, resurgence of a Chicano idea. And by doing this, by being present casually among people who talk about politics, about people who are residents here, and my neighbor, as Lou is here in the state, and being proudly Chicano as I am, and understanding that everything I say comes from that angle, and it being okay, demonstrating that it's okay on the show, is where we do need to go. It's that step where people need to become familiar with Chicano, with what Chicanos have to say, and where they come from.
How much of your own contribution to the show is the result, or based on the fact that your father, Samuel Ramirez, was very active in the community?
Well, I'd say I'd have to attribute everything to him. You know, I wouldn't have any clue if it wasn't for him, and for the way that he subtly introduced these ideas to me, just by being himself. And by having this word in our household, by being everything that he was, which was okay to everybody else. He was an educator, he was a businessman, he worked for the state, and he never had to overtly be Chicano, but he was a resident here, and he cared about the community, and he never lost his identity in what it was. And so, to me, that was what made it okay to be Chicano, and I want to share that with everybody else.
So, Lou, how do you decide what topics you're going to address from one show to the next?
It all depends on the week's news. As the week progresses and events occur in the community, it builds up towards the end of the week. You'll notice a lot of news stories break on Friday. And I think that's because something controversial will break on a Friday to not give the opportunity for anyone to react to it. So in the 2 days between Friday and when the show airs on Sunday, that's when I'm most busiest. So we try to be
busy identifying the topic and lining up co-hosts.
A lot of different things, gathering materials, talking to a variety of people. Certainly I have a point of view on what I see, but I still need the perspective of other people. And I talk to a great variety. I talk with Viva and say, did you hear about this? What do you think of this? And so I'm sort of the conduit of all this information.
Some of the shows I've listened to, you've had more than one co-host, or at least there are other voices participating. How do you decide how many people you're going to have on and what they're going to talk about?
It all depends who's going to be on the show. There's a possibility I can have more than one co-host. And I start the show, and after I start the show and broach the topics and all the information, I'm very content to sit back and to see how the synergy of everyone getting together and lending their point of view on an event. I'm sort of like the ringmaster if it goes out of bounds, but I do want to try to redirect everyone towards on the actual event, whatever it is that we're talking about, depending upon the week. So yeah, you're asking how I determine the content for the show. Some things are pre-planned, maybe weeks or so in advance. But the fact is, it all depends on how things happen in the news.
And when you talk about things getting out of bounds, do you mean simply off topic or some inappropriate statements?
Nothing is no one who's been on the show has ever been inappropriate. Although I will say that one time that we talked about, I believe it was Jason Richwine's dissertation. You remember this guy from Harvard? He was hired by the Heritage Foundation, and it was discovered near the end of the week that his dissertation was based on the idea that, now dig this, Latinos are genetically inferior.
This is a report that came out a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
so they're going to have lower IQs.
So we talked about this on the show, and who knows, someone from the Tea Party called up to basically...
So you take phone calls?
We do take phone calls, yes, and the show airs on KFNX, as you said, Sunday morning at 10 a.m., and we hope everybody tunes in. And you can also find us on Facebook if you look for Phoenix Talkback Radio Show.
Viva, anything that's come up on the shows that you participated in that made you feel uncomfortable in terms of what the other co-hosts or hosts said?
No, I can't say that's true. I'm there. I'm perfectly comfortable in my perspective. I will say I don't agree wholeheartedly with everything that everybody else says.
And is that expressed as between the people?
It's actually an atmosphere where we're encouraged to add in all of these different opinions. And the demonstration there is that this is sort of a sampling of what we want Arizona to be like. We accept that we have different opinions and things, and that we come from different places, and that we can actually have different identities, but in order to live here in peace, in order to have prosperity and the things we want for our state, that we have to be able to figure it out together. And the show is that discussion happening. And it could be an example for the way we want the community to behave out in the public.
Lou, we're almost out of time. The show you just did this last Sunday, I would venture to wage is perhaps one of your more controversial ones, because it focused on Randy Parras and questioning the monies he got in terms of the campaign, the recall campaign against Sheriff Arpaio, and pretty negative overall. Tell us about how you came to decide on that topic and what kind of reaction you've gotten so far.
Well, when the recall ended, we still had Sheriff Joe. So the name of that series is Where's My Recall?
So part of the concern was it had failed. The effort had failed.
The effort did fail, and
And we've only got about 20 seconds left.
I understand that. All I'm saying is that no one is above accountability. No one is above transparency.
Have you gotten any negative feedback so far?
No, actually, I've gotten a lot of positive feedback because they had no idea that what we reported was in existence. America has, and every human being has sort of a hero worship kind of thing, and we cannot let this get in the way of our politics.
Well, it sounds like a very interesting show. And again, for our viewers, it's Sunday mornings at 10 o'clock.
Sunday mornings at 10 o'clock.
Very good. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you.
And that is our show for tonight. From all of us here at Horizonte, I'm Jose Cardenas. Have a good evening.
Funding for Horizonte is made possible by contributions by the Friends of 8, members of your Arizona PBS station.